sun sets, the journey begins. The futuristic Toyota SUV, built for the wilderness.
For decades, one nameplate sat above everything else in the off-road world, not because of marketing, not because of celebrity endorsements, because it kept working when everything else gave up. Military convoys, aid organizations, remote expeditions in places where a breakdown means you don't come back. The Land Cruiser wasn't just a car, it was survival equipment with a Toyota badge. And now the most powerful version of that legend has been completely rebuilt, with a decision under the hood that has split the enthusiast community right down the middle. Let's start with the name, because it matters more than most people realize. The LC400 badge carries enormous weight. The original LC400 from the 1990s was powered by a smooth, legendary 4.0-liter V8, widely considered one of the finest SUVs ever built. Full stop. Bringing that name back in 2026 is not an accident. Toyota knows exactly what that badge means to the people who grew up with it, and they're banking on that emotional connection being strong enough to carry buyers past a very significant change. But we'll get to that. First, what does this thing actually look like? The design answer is confident and deliberate. Toyota didn't chase trends here. The boxy silhouette, the upright stance, the pronounced wheel arches, all of it stays because all of it works. What's new is the sharpness. The front end is more commanding, with a larger grille and a slimmer, more technical LED light signature that gives it a modern identity without erasing the heritage. Reviewers who've seen it in person consistently use the same word: purposeful. This is not an SUV trying to look tough. It's an SUV that doesn't need to try. The body lines are cleaner, the proportions more athletic, and the overall silhouette manages to look both expensive and genuinely dangerous at the same time, which is exactly what the Land Cruiser always promised. Step inside and the upgrade becomes impossible to ignore. Toyota has pushed the LC400 cabin into genuinely modern territory: a large central touchscreen, a fully digital instrument cluster, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, over-the-air software updates, multi-zone climate control, ventilated seats, and premium audio throughout. The layout is more driver-focused than previous generations, with controls positioned to reduce eye movement and a low belt line that improves visibility both on-road and off. But here's where one honest criticism keeps surfacing. Reviewers have noted that while the premium zones feel genuinely luxurious, some of the less visible surfaces still use harder, more utilitarian plastics. At a price point that puts this vehicle against the Range Rover Defender and Lexus GX, that observation stings a little. Toyota's interior is impressive, but it's not quite flawless at this price. Something to sit with before signing anything. Now the part everyone wants to talk about. The engine. The original LC400 had a V8, a smooth, sonorous, effortless V8 that made pulling 5 tons of trailer feel like a casual Tuesday. The 2026 LC400 does not have a V8. Instead, Toyota has moved to a 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine paired with an electric motor, the iForce MAX hybrid system, producing a combined 326 horsepower and 465 lb-ft of torque. On paper, those numbers look strong, but then Edmunds put it on a test track. 0 to 60 in 8.3 seconds. Quarter mile in 16.3 seconds at 85 mph. For context, the Lexus GX 550, Toyota's own luxury SUV, covers that same 60 mph run in 6.4 seconds. That gap is not a small thing. Now, Toyota would argue, correctly, that this hybrid system wasn't tuned for track times. It was tuned for low-end torque, trail crawling, and long-distance towing. The 465 lb-ft of torque figure speaks to that priority. But for buyers coming from V8 culture, the sound, the feel, and the performance numbers are going to feel like a step back. Whether that trade-off is acceptable depends entirely on how you actually use the vehicle. And here is where the LC400 stops apologizing and starts winning. Take it off-road, and the conversation changes completely. Full-time 4-wheel drive is standard across the lineup. Locking center and rear differentials, crawl control, downhill assist, and a multi-terrain select system that adapts to sand, rock, mud, and snow. It's all here, and it's all genuine. Towing capacity reaches 6,000 pounds when properly equipped. The suspension has been re-engineered to adapt intelligently, composed and comfortable on paved roads, then hardened and precise when the terrain gets serious. One reviewer put it simply: this is not an SUV pretending to be capable. It is purpose-built for the places most luxury SUVs wouldn't survive. If you bought the LC400 to genuinely use it, you will not be disappointed. Pricing lands the LC400 in a genuinely interesting spot. The US starting price sits at approximately $57,880, which undercuts the Land Rover Defender at $63,500 and the Lexus GX at $65,000, while offering real off-road hardware that neither of those vehicles can fully match below their top trims. Toyota also continues to lead the industry on long-term ownership costs. Kelley Blue Book named Toyota its top brand for resale value in 2026, and every eligible new Toyota comes with a no-cost maintenance plan covering the first 2 years or 25,000 miles. That matters because the Land Cruiser's values story has never just been about the sticker price. It's about what the car is worth 5 years later, and historically, that number stays very high. But the honest question buyers have to ask themselves is this: at nearly $60,000, are you paying for a luxury SUV or for a purpose-built expedition tool that happens to have nice seats? Because reviewers are consistent on one point: the Land Cruiser prioritizes capability over comfort, not comfort over capability. If that order of priority matches yours, the value case is strong. If it doesn't, the Defender and GX may leave you more satisfied on daily roads. So here's where the LC400 actually lands. Toyota has built something that is genuinely great at what it was designed to do, and genuinely flawed in the areas it chose not to prioritize. The V8 is gone, and that will hurt some people's hearts more than their daily commute. The hybrid system delivers torque and efficiency, but not drama. The interior is impressive, but not perfect. And on normal roads, reviewers agree, you'll feel the truck underneath you in a way that a Defender or GX does not. But take it somewhere that would end a lesser vehicle's story early. Cross something that most luxury SUVs would refuse to attempt. Tow something heavy across difficult terrain for a long distance. And suddenly, the LC400 stops being a compromise and starts being the only answer. That's always been the Land Cruiser's promise. The 2026 version keeps it, just with a smaller engine and a bigger screen. What do you think? Does the hybrid replacement for the V8 bother you? Or is 326 horsepower enough to earn the LC400 badge? Drop your take in the comments, subscribe to The Car Analyst, and we'll see you in the next one.